guys, this week I promised you the apartment tour, so we're going to be doing that today. If you hear any whirring or clicking, don't worry, it's just my camera's autofocus. It's quite noisy. But anyway, let's get started. So this is my front door. Here, you can see my lock. My key's weird. There we go. Front entrance. Down here we have the mud room or mud space. Shoes off. Okay. So, right after the mud space, we have the shoe closet. Keep my dress shoes in there. I always usually keep my tennis shoes out here because I use them more often. So, to the left of the entryway is my bathroom and wet room. There's my toilet. It is a robot toilet. Does bidet, all that kind of weird stuff. It's actually really nice. Okay. Here's my washing machine. It's also supposed to technically dry the clothes. Let's turn that autofocus off. Oop. I'm gonna manually do this. Okay. Here's my washing machine. It also technically dries, but it just like really spins the clothes. That's its drying. So to actually dry the clothes, you gotta hang them. So I'm hanging a load of laundry right now. But yeah, this is the wet room. When you take a bath, you actually take that nozzle off and you wash yourself out here with the door closed, and then you run the bath and then you soak in there for as long as you want, and then you can pull the plug and drain it. So that's how that works. Aside from that, there's nothing much out here. A little bit further, there's my microwave and refrigerator, some food storage area, not much. Here's my cooking area and sink. Little storage there for plates and such. I've already cooked a couple times on the stove, mostly just spaghetti, but anyway, it's been working fine. Little space underneath the sink for storage of pots, pans, knives, spatulas. So if you go further in, the main room. Okay. So this is clean, I will say that. It doesn't look clean because I have my garbage in here still. I have to wait until another day to put my garbage out because I forgot yesterday morning and this morning. So yesterday morning was burnables, which is on the left, and this morning was plastics on the right, and I forgot to take them out because I slept in because I was tired. So I've got a little table here. I've got some change out on it. This is my rail pass. I charge that up with money every time I'm running a little low. And that's a ton of 1 yen coins. These are made of aluminum. Focus. These are made of aluminum, so they will float in water. Okay, over here we have my futon. It is a pain to sleep in this thing if you're a side sleeper. If you sleep on your back, it isn't so bad. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm young and I can sleep on my back on virtually nothing. So this is the overcover. You're supposed to be under this. That's my actual mat to sleep on. It's about that thick. And it's just hard underneath. So some mornings or some nights are harder than others to get to sleep. I've got a little shelf up there for books or whatever I want to keep. I've got a fan for decoration. Look at this. It's a little cup I picked up. It's a little cup I picked up at the 100 yen shop. It's got a cute little owl on it. Fukuro means owl. Anyway, there's my TV and my PlayStation and such. So the way my Wi-Fi works actually is this thing. This is how I get my internet. So my TV is my router, and it throws the signal, you know, across the apartment, and it's kind of cool actually. I have to pay for it through the TV every month, and it's only like $20, and it's been working fine. Here's my closet. In my left closet, I have my work clothes, ties, socks, long underwear for winter. In the right closet, I've got my off-duty clothes. So I've got my swim trunks, gloves, socks, underwear, pants, shorts, scarves, hats, lots of different coats, a few t-shirts. I bought a cheap umbrella at the convenience store because, you know, why not? This is my air conditioner unit, and it's been really nice so far. It's got actually two remotes, but this is the one that I first figured out how to work. This one will only run it for 3 hours at a time. So, and I just figured out how to work the other one yesterday, and I keep the other one up here so it's easy to reach when I come in through the door, or if I'm on my futon. Curtains here. I don't have much of a view. Probably gonna blow that out of exposure. Yeah, I pretty much have a view of an empty lot and the street over there. Not much, but I can see if it's raining or not. This table can actually be folded in. If you take that leg and you push it towards the wall, and then the table will come down so you can have more floor space. Oh, a couple more things. The area underneath my futon is empty, and I'm keeping my luggage that I used to get over here with underneath it. I don't use it too often. I don't foresee using it too often. It's just, you know, it's there if I need it. The steps are actually storage too. I'm using the first one to keep papers, important documents, and the second one I have empty still. It's you get a lot of mileage for what space you do have in this little apartment. This thing is my doorbell and monitor. So if someone rings my doorbell, it'll come through on this speaker, and then I can press this button, and there it is, and that's the view of the camera from the camera's point of view outside my door, so I can see who's calling on me at what hours. And through this, I think that's an intercom button that I can use to talk with them. Oh, the thing I have my fan setting on up here is actually a security system that I don't know how to turn on or off or do anything with, so it's a nice shelf for my fan. So the way to dry your clothes in this joint is with this panel. Focus, okay. So using this panel, you set the fan to, I think this is like a drying fan, just a fan, and then these two are for ventilation for when you're taking a shower, and then you can set the time over here for half hour, hour, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is just a stop button. So that's how you dry your clothes if it's raining outside. If you have a rod long enough, there's actually some slots you can put a pole through, and you can hang stuff to dry out there, but I haven't gotten around to getting a rod long enough, and I think this works perfectly well for me. Oh, this box on the door is for packages. If mailman comes and he delivers a package, he can put it in this thing if it fits, and I can come and collect it by putting in the code that I set on the front door. I do have a couple things to say about the apartment, though. There aren't a whole lot of plugins, not a lot of electrical outlets. So I think I have 4 total for free use. So I've got 2 on this wall over here, and then 2 by the base of my futon, one that I use for my computer charger, one I use for my phone charger, and I've got my TV plugged in. Then I had to get a little extension, multi-plug outlet extension thing for my PlayStation. Alright, now that the tour is over, we can go over some of the other things I did this week. Apart from my normal work week, I went to a Japanese church on Sunday after work, and it was great. Shout out to Maki-san, who made me feel welcomed at home. It was a Methodist church, and it was actually a really good service. I got to meet a lot of new people, and so I'm looking forward to going to the night services there. And I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a good year for church. Yesterday, which was Monday, I actually walked out to the ocean. I thought I had my first Japanese lessons yesterday, but I was wrong. They start next week on Monday. So while I was in the area, which was about 1.7 clicks from my house, kilometers, I went and walked the next 0.4 clicks to the ocean, the port of Yaizu. And I checked that out, and it's a really odd sensation, to be at the Pacific Ocean, which is, an ocean that I've seen from one side, and now to be on the other side and looking out over it, knowing, wow, I'm actually 2,000 miles away from home. So that was an interesting experience. Alright, now on to questions, comments, and snide remarks, the part of the show where I answer your questions that you put in the YouTube comments below. So, Willie the Whale asks, what does a typical workday look like in Japan in terms of your line of work? Okay, so Willie, I'm imagining that's Eric. I got you, buddy. So a typical workday, it depends on what my shift is. I either have an 8-lesson shift or a 5-lesson shift. 5-lesson shift, I show up to work and I teach 5 lessons without a break. 8-lesson shifts, I show up to work, I teach 8 lessons, but somewhere in the middle I have either a 1-lesson slot break or 2 lesson slot breaks. So lessons are 40 minutes each, and then I have 10 minutes in between for administration, so like recording scores, that kind of thing. Other than that, I've got to, of course, wake up, shower, brush my teeth, put on a shirt and tie and, you know, generally look nice, professional. Work really isn't all that interesting, I don't think, from a viewer's perspective. So if you have any really more specific questions about work, feel free to put them in the YouTube comments below and I will answer them. Alright, next up is Driz TBC asks, and I think that's Brandon. Question for you, how's the cooking going? I imagine there's a lack of McDonald's and other fast food chains that are commonplace in America, so it's not as easy to grab a quick bite to eat for a meal. Well, I'm glad you asked, Brandon. So I've already cooked, I've cooked a couple times recently in my apartment, mostly spaghetti, which is, you know, it's a cheap, easy meal, and I don't have to prepare a whole lot for it if I choose to. Other than that, up till recently, I've been living off of convenience store meals, which is kind of expensive, but also really, really convenient. So if you go down to your local 7-Eleven or a Welcia or Belmart or whatever, they will have packaged meals that you can buy for 500 yen or under in most cases. And you take these home, or you buy these and they will heat them up for you there, or you can take them home and you can heat them up at your own house. Depends on what you want. And then it's a pretty easy meal, and they're pretty good too. I've had curry and pork cutlets. I've had pot stickers, gyoza. I've had a few different yakisoba dishes. It's generally pretty good food, pretty convenient. You know, it's a good choice for if I get off work, say at 9 or 9:30, and I don't have time to run to the store and pick up things to make dinner for that night. I'll go to the convenience store and, you know, just pick up something from there. Other than that, actually cooking in Japan is it's interesting. The actual cooking part isn't that bad. It's knowing what to cook as well as what you're putting in. So if you can't read Japanese very well, if you don't have a good grasp of kanji, especially related to food products, it can be tough to find some things. So that's why spaghetti's been kind of a go-to for me. But I am trying to expand my horizons. Maybe I'll try cooking some beef curry or pork curry. We'll see. Alright, that does it for questions this episode. If you have any more questions to ask me, feel free to drop them into the YouTube comments below, and I will answer them in the next video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Sawyer-san's Magic Ride channel. It's good to know that people are watching these. It takes you know, some effort to make these videos, and so it's good to know that it's not being wasted. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.